think, it's only a desk. It can't, it's not rocket surgery. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Clueless Dad. Today we're going to put together a Bekant desk from IKEA. This is the 140 by 60 centimeter size. Actually, this is one of them here. I've already done one, and I'm going to do a second one for you. This is my studio space, what's going to become the studio space in my office. And we ordered some furniture from IKEA last week, and I've already done a little bit of it. If you haven't seen my other videos, check those out here. But in the meanwhile, let's put together a Bekant. By the way, you may have found this video because you Googled the word Galant. Galant is actually the old name for this series. IKEA rebooted it, rebranded it, whatever, I think a couple of years ago. So in my old office, and actually still now my new office, I've had a Galant desk for, I don't know, it's going on 5-6 years at least. Bought it a while ago, and every time I move, I keep taking it with me because it's actually pretty decent, and I liked it. So when I was looking for new furniture, I started Googling Galant, and I couldn't find it, and it turns out because they just renamed it. So the Bekant is the new version and actually has some key differences, most of which I don't like, so I'm going to talk about that in the video. But first, let me put these together. I'm going to do it all in time-lapse just to save you guys some trouble, and then I'll stop at the end and explain what I don't like about the design and the assembly process. So let's just get started, and I'm going to adjust the camera. Ready, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so that was actually pretty easy. Only took like 10 or 15 minutes. In my case, since I've done it before, faster than normal. But basically, I stopped here. I didn't actually finish. I didn't put the net down on the bottom. You can see these 6 holes here is where that net goes. Personally, I think the net is kind of useless because there's no holes in the desktop, so there's no way to feed the cables into it. So basically, you have to have cables feed into it and then cables feed out to it to the wall outlet or to whatever accessories you're going to plug into. So pretty much, it's just a tangle of wires underneath your table, which might interfere with your needs and whatnot. So it seems pretty pointless to me. So I didn't even bother to put it on this or the other table that I've already done. So that said, I also don't like a lot of other things about this design, and let me share them here. So first of all, unlike the Galant, this one, the Bekant, the new version, uses these plastic bracket with like a plastic pin that goes in it, and the pin goes and pushes the bracket and expands it, and that basically expands in the bottom of the desktop and holds it in place and basically holds the metal bracket in place and in alignment with the holes here on the bottom of the desktop. And so there's basically 6 of them, 2 on each corner and 2 in the center. And the problem is that first of all, it's plastic and it's kind of cheap and it can break, and also it can't hold very much load. So they can't just use that. That can basically help you align it, but that can't keep the desktop from really, staying fastened on here strong enough. Basically, if they just use these and you maybe try to lift up the table, you might end up just, separating this bracket off of the bottom of the desktop. Basically, your legs would come off your tabletop. So what they did is they also make you put in these sort of S brackets, and you have to screw them in. But the problem is there's no hole, so you have to actually start the hole yourself. So they're too cheap to even, make a pilot hole so that you know exactly where to line it up. And so what they tell you to do is basically like sort of punch or make an indentation with the screw, and then basically just screw it in by hand directly into this particle board. So this is not, a solid piece of wood, so it's actually pretty easy. But hey, how hard is it to basically make a pilot hole? So you have this, as you can see, I didn't even put it really in the center, and it's kind of off, because by the time you screw it in, who knows where it's actually going to end up. So very imprecise, and it's actually not how they did it on the Galant. The Galant actually screwed directly into the tabletop, like with pilot holes and everything. So I don't know why they had to switch to this plastic bracket thing, plus the S bracket that you have to screw in with no pilot hole. I don't think that's really improvement. I don't think it's that much cheaper for them to even make, so I don't know why they did it that way. It's definitely not an improvement. So that's one thing I don't like. The other thing I don't like is the fact that when you use these plastic brackets, technically you can remove them. They actually show you in the instructions, like if you take a screwdriver and you pry this up, you can maybe get it out, and then you can pull this thing out. But you might also break it. If you break off that pin inside there, it's actually, well, I mean, you can basically rip it out, but you might not be able to put it back in again at least. So why is that a problem? The problem is this leg. So as you can see, the foot of this leg, the T-shaped thing, this one screws in with these two bolts, which have the Allen heads on them. And so if this comes loose, it's pretty easy. You just flip the table over, tighten these, and that problem's solved. But there's also where the leg connects to that bracket. So there's one big Allen head bolt under here. And the problem is you can't get to it when the desktop is on there. So you have to actually take it off and then tighten that. And that actually has happened to me before in the Galant, where, you know, after you move it a couple times, after a couple years, this thing might start coming loose, and then who knows what's going to happen. So you want to tighten it, and if you want to tighten it, you've got to remove the desktop from the bracket underneath. And on the Galant, that was just a matter of taking out some screws. Now you've got to take out some screws, and you've also got to get these things removed without breaking them, and then put the whole thing back again afterwards. So I don't know. Yeah, again, not an improvement, because it's not unlikely that you might have to tighten this sometime in the future. So buyer be warned. Okay, so that's what I don't like about the bottom. Let's talk a little bit about what I don't like about the top. On the previous Galant, the wood finish one actually was like real wood. So it was still like particle board with, you know, really thin laminates on top. But it was like real wood, and it felt like real wood, and it got nicked like real wood, but it looked decent. To me, this one looks like fake wood, you know, like stick-on wood. Like it's like a plastic sticker that has wood grain printed on it. It's not quite that bad, but it basically is like way faker. It's like, might as well be linoleum. They have other finishes. They have like a black one. They have white, which are totally not natural. This one looks natural. It even has kind of a fake wood grain on the edges too. On the inside, it's all particle board anyway. But yeah, it looks really fake. So I don't know why. It's actually, both of them are made in Slovakia. I don't know why they changed it, but they did. One other thing that's key to note is this version versus the Galant. The Bekant has like really rounded corners. I guess that's just the way that the design changed. Also on my old one, it had silver legs, and now they only have black and white. So as you can see, the black ones. So overall, yeah, I don't know why they changed it. I don't think it made it actually better. For, what did this one cost? I think like 200 US. You'd expect a little bit better. And again, I think that net thing is kind of useless, and the design of the bottom has not improved. So to wrap up, it's only a desktop. I'm sure it'll be fine. But again, I don't know why they changed what they did, and I don't think it's really for the better. It's only a desk though, right? If you haven't checked out other assembly videos for IKEA furniture, definitely check them out. I got that sofa over here. I got the bookshelves over there. I got the tables outside. I got all kinds of great stuff. See you guys next time, and don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and all that stuff. Okay, bye. Having the stroller with me all the time up in the overhead bin. As soon as we get off the plane, pull it out, unfold it, and walk off. Literally that could save you 15-20 minutes right there.